What is up, guys? It is esports content entertainment coming at you guys with another video here today. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about a video that Team Liquid Honda League of Legends put out on their Twitter page. Now, as you guys already know, coming into 2022, Team Liquid put together a super team that costed a lot of money. Players consisting of Bwipo, Santorin, Bjergsen, Hans Sama, and Core JJ. So this team not only did not win the LCS 2022 Spring Split, they didn't even reach the finals. Then in the LCS 2022 Summer Split, they finished 4th place and didn't even make the 2022 World Championship. This roster pretty much failed to do anything that they most likely set out to do. Remember, this roster was assembled to not only win NA, go to MSI, perform well at MSI this year in 2022, come back from MSI, essentially dominate the summer split, then go on to the playoffs, win the playoffs, and then go to Worlds 2022 as the first seed. Let's be completely honest here. That is what Steve wanted from this Team Liquid roster. You look at the roster of players that they actually have, and they realistically should have been a top 3 team. Now, there was a lot of issues that I did point out coming into this year about the issues that this team could have actually. For me personally, I always just thought that 100 Thieves' team was just a little bit better anyway, but that was just my own personal opinion. Like, to see Team Liquid fail this big is actually concerning, considering we don't really know what the hell happened. So what is Team Liquid really going to do? Team Liquid has been the organization to spend quite a bit of money ever since, what, 2018. Actually, ever since 2018, Steve has assembled super teams to win LCS and go internationally. Now remember, Team Liquid going to Worlds for the LCS never even got out of group stage. The only group stage Team Liquid has ever gotten out of at an international event was MSI 2019, where they defeated Invictus Gaming and then got 3-0'd by G2 Esports in the final of that tournament. So, looking at all of these superstar rosters that they have put together, and it's really interesting to see what direction is Team Liquid going to be going in. Now, before Team Liquid started assembling these super teams, starting with 2018, they were pretty much just getting like good to okay players and consistently sometimes finishing 4th place. Now, with a super team, they finished 4th place. So you know, going into the LCS 2023 Spring Split, they're gonna want to obviously maybe dial back on the spending and get some players that are just good homegrown talents, but then also putting in superstar-ish players with their roster. Now, people have asked me, who do I personally think they would actually keep on their roster? I think Bwipo and Hans Sama are going to end up gone. I would keep Santorin. I think he played really well, actually, toward the latter end of the year. In spring, I thought he was pretty solid. And then for the playoffs, I thought he was also pretty solid outside of the, the miscalculation on the Baron. He has played pretty well, right? Then the summer split for this year of 2022, I thought he was also pretty solid. Then in playoffs, he really performed very well. Santorin is the player that I would definitely keep. I really wouldn't keep Bjergsen. I would definitely think about getting rid of Bjergsen and potentially getting another player. I mean, who knows? This season, this offseason for this year of 2022 is going to be really interesting. Who knows? You might see a player like Abadaga join fucking Team Liquid. I wouldn't keep Bjergsen. Remember, he threw away Jensen for Bjergsen, a player who dominates LCS but doesn't do anything internationally. I like it how the teams that didn't want Jensen were the ones fighting for a final world spot this year. That's fucking crazy. Alright, let's get into this video and let's see what Steve has to say. This is what I think they're going to end up doing. What I think they're going to end up doing is just going with the good players on the Team Liquid Academy roster. Their bot lane is actually pretty good, and I think could definitely be LCS starters. I mean, you saw players like Armao, and let's be honest here, Armao was never starting over Santorin. They have a player on, it was a mid laner, he was on Order, it was Spawn's team in Oceania when Spawn was over there. Harry, could Harry compete in the LCS and be an LCS starter mid laner. I've actually spoken to Harry before. If you guys go check through the channel, I have a video talking to him. I think it's all based off maybe. I mean, these things are maybe. Like would Steve put in Harry over Bjergsen? I doubt it. I think he's going to end up keeping Bjergsen and Santorin. But the other bigger elephant in the room is, would he get rid of CoreJJ? I mean, because CoreJJ's contract is over, and CoreJJ has been a very pivotal success, key factor as to the reason why Team Liquid had been this competitive for quite some time. Now, I think CoreJJ had been just living off his name value for quite some time, but was still an overall pretty solid LCS level support player. But I think other support players had been better than him pretty much throughout the year, actually. This Team Liquid Super Team never really got it together. In Lock-In, they dominated. Let's lock in, right? But in the spring split, just the regular season and going to playoffs, they never were that dominant force that a lot of people thought they were going to be. Going into the summer split regular season and the summer split playoffs, just for this year of 2022, both spring regular season, spring playoffs, summer 2022 season, and then you also the playoffs, out of a combination of the regular seasons and the playoffs, they never were that dominant team. They were always getting beaten by, they were getting beat by the top teams you expect, like 100 Thieves, Cloud9, teams like that, right? Evil Geniuses. But they would also drop games and almost drop games to really bad teams as well, which was really concerning. Their drafting phases was really questionable. Maybe it was on the coaching staff. Maybe it was, I'm not going to say it was all Gilioto, but every time Gilioto has a super team, doesn't really do much with it. But yeah, let's go into this video.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Steve, co-CEO at Team Liquid. I feel bad that it took us a couple days to get an update to all of our fans. To be really honest, it took me a little bit of time to collect and organize all of my thoughts.
I'd imagine if they spent what it was reported that he spent on this roster, pulling from the investors that they have, a $6 million roster, not even going to be going to Worlds. I mean, looking at how they played throughout the year, it was very possible they couldn't have made Worlds, actually. It was a very big possibility. I mean, people had a feeling they wouldn't make Worlds, but to see how they didn't make Worlds is just crazy, You have players like Hans Sama, as you can tell, literally mental booming on stage and shit. Bjergsen's just sitting there being passive as fuck. They kind of like lived or died by Hans Sama picking Jinx, all ending on the bot lane. And you're also kind of having another insurance policy of Whipple in the top lane. If he kind of starts feeding, then what do you really have?
Wanted to make sure to provide a lot of transparency. With that being said, I think going into this season, I was completely enamored by the idea of building a roster that would potentially be the best roster that the region has ever seen in the last decade. After participating in Worlds for so many times and falling short, going 3-3 in groups, and North America being the host for Worlds was such an incredible opportunity for the organization and for us to demonstrate our excellence and continue to build on our legacy as an organization. So when we built the roster, yes, we spent a lot of money. We also got commitment from a lot of partners. We convinced a lot of stakeholders at Team Liquid that this was the year, and I conveyed as much to all of the players that we were building something incredibly special. All great things come with a certain level of risk. And
well, yeah, anyone who's watching, like, people are gonna say certain things, and here, I'll clear this up too. All the league is about winning championships and building a legacy with your organization. Let's just be honest here, okay? So when people say things like, he bought a title, the point of the league is to win. The point of the league is to win a title. Doesn't matter if you buy the best players or not. Plenty of other leagues do it too, and definitely in traditional sports do it a lot. So that's not really a problem that I personally have. I don't know why other people have that problem. I think it's just stupid, honestly. But for me personally, when you factor in the word investment, investments can fail. That's just part of how this works, And
unfortunately, we fell really short. I'm incredibly disappointed in our...
And it's hard to say they fell really short. They were literally one game away from going to Worlds, though. You know, the same thing with TSM last year when they faced Cloud9. They were literally one game away from going to Worlds, actually. You know,
performance. I'm angry at myself for possibly not doing certain things. There's a lot of woulda, shoulda, couldas. There's a lot of regret, but we are where we are, and it's okay to feel that emotion as a fan, as an owner, as a player, but we can't sit in it for a long time. We have to get up and do something about it. And it kind of reminds me of back when we had our forever fourth curse and being in that mental state where you don't want to read Reddit, you don't want to read Twitter, you have everyone telling you you suck and what you tried failed, and it doesn't feel great, but you rally and you figure out what's going to be next, and that's what we're doing. So that gets us to next year. The roster will be different, doubling down on...
I think that was gonna be obvious. If you fail with a team of this magnitude, the roster was going to change. I've been telling people this for a long time. Is like, these rosters change, okay? If you don't meet what the org has set out for their expectations for that year, the roster will change. Rosters always change. Like, that's something people need to understand.
On some of the areas where we've seen incredible success so far, and also the opportunity to build players using the Team Liquid infrastructure rather than this concept of...
So what he means right there basically is they're going to try and bring up some really good... Hopefully this is what he means. I don't want to speak for him, but hopefully this is what he means. They're going to bring up players from their academy team and build around that, then potentially add in a good player to make that even better. Like, their bot lane has looked good. People have said their support, Elia, who played in the LCS, he was actually really good. I was surprised he didn't get a starting spot, actually. There were some really shitty LCS supports this past split. Elia definitely could have played.
Building super teams, which has always kind of worked for us to a certain degree, but I think times are changing. So we're going to be doing a lot of changes. We're in the thick of it this very moment. Every single day I'm working very closely with the players and the staff to do right by everyone and hold our integrity in the highest regard on how we get to next year. I'm sorry to our partners, our fans, for what has been an epic failure, but I promise you that we have not broken our will, and we will fight, and we are going to prove to everyone that we can do something really special in League of Legends. For now, cheer on the other teams at Worlds. Our players and myself will be participating, and you see me in New York City or San Francisco, please wave me down and say hello, and do the same for our team. We're there for the community, and that's part of the love, even if we're not competing. And we're still going to be creating a ton of content around Worlds, so check out our last episode of Squad for the season. We'll have that uploaded on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Love each and every one of you, and let's go Liquid.
Yeah. What I find strange is teams are now putting out their content on Twitter, which is really weird, because I think that should be up on your Team Liquid League of Legends YouTube channel. I was never a fan of the teams kind of like splitting up their channels and all these different esports and shit like that. That's my own personal opinion, but that's just how I feel. So yeah, Steve making these announcements is not surprising to me. They failed. There's no ifs, ands, ors, or buts. They failed. The roster was assembled to win both splits this year, go to MSI, potentially do well there, or at least learn from the best teams in the world, and then go to Worlds. It's likely the first or second seed. Even if they... See, that's the thing. I think they would have still seen the year as a somewhat success is if they went to Worlds. If they go to Worlds over EG, I definitely see a world where they don't make a video like this. But I think these ideas still get pondered because even if they had made Worlds, let's be honest here, if they had made it to the third place match against 100 Thieves, they would have lost to 100 Thieves. You know, they'd have lost to 100 Thieves. Definitely would have lost to them. And then, let's say even if they had won against 100 Thieves, they're gonna definitely get shitted on by Cloud9. It wasn't gonna be close, you know? So my thing here is, what is gonna be Team Liquid going into the LCS 2023 spring split? I definitely think there's a world where, you know, the roster gets cut in half. So I think 2 players stay, and I think the other 3 leave. Potentially they might, because the thing, Bwipo and Hansama take up import slots. And if they're not playing at the level of an import slot player should, they're gonna be on the roster. And it's something with about Hansama too, like, the teams that Hansama are on usually fucking fail. There's something up with that. I'll probably do that I'll probably talk about that in the Cloud9 podcast coming up on Wednesday. So yeah, that pretty much wraps this up. I want to let you guys know this. The Cloud9 podcast is actually every Wednesday. You know, but before we get to Worlds 2022, we will have episodes still coming out talking about the LPL and what happened with their region from the last time we, you know, were catching up with games in the LPL. Same with the LCK and the LEC. We'll do the LEC, then we'll do the LCK, then we'll do the LPL. So I want to make sure you guys get a consistent weekly basis of at least the podcast before Worlds comes back. We're going to have more news come out about the offseason, because teams that didn't make Worlds 2022 will already start making roster decisions. I mean, like you said right there, Team Liquid's already making decisions about that. TSM, we know we're making decisions. Any team that didn't make World 2022 is already making roster decisions for next year. Because to be fair, next year's not too far around the corner. I mean, literally after Worlds, you're in November, and then it's December, and then you have the offseason news, and then you're essentially playing preseason tournaments, actually. So, just want to let you guys know that Cloud9 podcasts are Wednesdays, but I'm going to have a dedicated channel update video coming out explaining what we do on the channel, because I know we have some new subs coming in. So I want to make sure I do a channel update video for you guys, kind of breaking down what we do here on the channel. So yeah, expect more pre-recorded videos coming. I have a brand new series that I'm going to be starting with Worlds 2022 when we get the first schedule for the tournament. So when the first schedule for the matches are out, I'm going to end up creating a brand new series based around that. I was going to do it throughout the playoffs, but I just didn't have enough time. Honestly, in my personal life, I was just really, really busy. So yeah, so expect a brand new series, expect more pre-recorded videos coming, if it pertains to one. You know, if we have news videos like this, or anything that's like something I need to be talking about, you know, then we're going to be talking about it. But more or less so, most of the content we do here is in the Cloud9 podcast. That's why I want to do the other series, because it just gives you, you know, more pre-recorded content. Now, as per Worlds 2022, we are going to be pushing more of the Cloud9 podcast episodes, because I want to try and have an episode out each day for the games, actually, because I think it's something where, you know, like, looking back on this year, personally myself, I didn't do enough like I should have, and I was always in my head thinking about what I could have did more for you guys, and I now know exactly what I want to do for the channel, and we're going to be making that push for 1,000 subscribers. So if you are new here and you do like what you already see, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below. I would be lucky to I would be enthusiastic, and I would feel so happy to have newer people here. It's something that we're building something great here, and it's something that I want to keep pushing forward. Yeah, so see you guys later. Like, comment, and subscribe. I am MSK, and this is esports content and entertainment, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.